Hello everyone and welcome back to The Lost Wisdom of the Earth. Now my guest today started out studying physics and biomedical technologies, but it seemed the universe had very different ideas for him and introduced him to the world of energy and energy healing, from which he didn't look back. Having trained in a variety of energy healing disciplines as well as shamanic practices, today he produces the most beautiful objects using sacred geometry, crystals and even essences. But the thing that makes them truly remarkable is that they incorporate something called orgon energy, a type of energy which is both healing and of huge benefit to us and our environment. So to tell us a lot more about orgon and his beautiful orgonite designs is Andrew Paradnik. Andrew, I've said that right or wrong?
It sounds perfect. Right.
Is that right? Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
I knew I'd stumble over that.
No, I won't.
I'm quite excited about this because I don't really know what orgon is. I've heard of it. I know there's some controversy about it in some circles. I know it has amazing benefits attributed to it. So I'm so looking forward to you telling us more. So can we start with that? What is orgon energy?
Fair enough. So the term orgon itself has been coined by Dr. Wilhelm Reich, who is a student of Freud's actually. Him as well as Jung basically studied with Freud, and they kind of had a little bit of a disagreement on soul as well as consciousness and energy. And as Wilhelm Reich was studying a lot of the Vedic texts, he had a lot of understanding of the term prana. So prana, orgon, chi, ki, there are many different terms for it, but basically this describes life force.
Yeah.
So basically Reich discovered that in 1937, I believe it is.
Yeah, it's a long time ago now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And so basically he was trying to prove that orgon or chi energy as such exists, right?
Yeah. So it's this invisible life force that we all know we have, because otherwise we wouldn't be here. But
that's right.
Yeah.
Right. So basically what he was trying to do is proving that it exists and also making it visible.
Yeah.
So he started building something called orgon accumulators, which was the first form of orgon device or orgon creating machine. And the way how he got to that is he was basically looking at really, really tiny organisms, the smallest that you can find, one-cell organisms, and putting them under a microscope and trying to do all types of measurements. And he was failing at it because the equipment at the time was very weak compared to what you have nowadays.
Yeah.
So he tried to experiment with different types of Faraday cages. And the Faraday cage is basically a metal cage that screens out any cosmic energy, any gamma rays, anything that we basically receive from the cosmos to make the screens more and more accurate. So he was doing them out of metal, then he tried fiberglass, wool, wood, and he started mixing them up more and more and more. And the more he had, the less interference he had with the measurement. So he found that over the years of experimenting with that once he had many, many, many layers of those, the little beings that he was experimenting on, they were actually started to give off this visible energy, which he, I believe, first called bioelectric energy. So then he realized that actually what makes this energy stay in this particular field and making it visible was the cage itself. So by creating many, many different layers of organic and inorganic layers, there's no energy that can move in and out, and then the energy that is inside kind of becomes visible or measurable.
Right. So it's almost like it's trapped in a bubble.
Yes, that's right. So that was kind of his first experiment. And Reich was also a big believer in the energy of the libido. So he was claiming that when someone has high libido, they have also a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So the term orgonites actually comes from, the orgon bit comes from orgasm. So he believed that when the human body has an orgasm, the energy that it gives off during the time is the highest possible frequency that a human can create.
That's not the first time I've heard that. So yeah.
And the same thing is being taught nowadays by tantric circles, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was listening to an interview the other day from Barbara Handclough. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she was talking about, she works a lot with the Pleiadians, and she was saying how the Pleiadians say that this is the orgasmic energy. It moves the universe, was what she said.
The force of creation, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, this is what actually creates life, right?
Yeah.
So basically, Reich was saying that what we could do in theory is trap this energy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but over the years, he also realized that there's positive organ energy and negative organ energy.
Yeah.
And positive organ, so it depends really on the environment you're in. Say you are in the woods somewhere far away from society, and an energy of nature is beautiful. You would put an organ accumulator in that type of space. The energy that it would accumulate would be very positive, right?
Yeah.
And let me also explain how those generators actually work. It seems like that chi energy or organ itself flows 100% through organic matter.
Mm-hmm.
Inorganic matter bounces part of the energy away. So say iron, for instance, would roughly bounce 50% of the chi. So if you start with an organic matter on the outside, and then you have non-organic, organic, non-organic, organic, the only way that chi can flow is in, part of it goes out, but 50% is now trapped. And then it keeps bouncing forwards and backwards to the inside. So this is how the orgonite, basically, or the organ accumulator guides the energy in. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the same would be from the inside out. But now let's say we have this one of those boxes, and you put it in the woods, and chi energy will start flowing inside and flowing inside and flowing inside. And this process does not really stop. So up to such a degree that Reich was claiming that when you had one of those organ generators and you would leave it standing in a good environment for a long time, you could look inside and you would actually see the chi energy. So you could see it with the naked eye, and he was describing it as a bluish ray. When you're looking down from space onto the earth and you see this beautiful blue aura?
This haze, yeah.
That's right. So he says this is how chi energy looks like in this type of a body.
Wow. Yeah.
So
so that's the life force made visible.
That's right. So he was having some of his laboratories in environments where there was a lot of electric lines going through and the ley lines were not correct. So some of the organ accumulators started also generating negative type of organ. And it's same as like nowadays if you would be talking about geomancy. You have certain ley lines that carry a very positive energy and certain ley lines carry a negative type of energy. So that's basically how he saw that POR and DOR, positive and negative organ. Yes?
Yeah.
So he moved a lot of his equipment into the woods and started building more and more of those generators and basically experimenting with people, right? Volunteers coming in, and he's like, all right, you have this particular chronic disease, and I'm not really sure if I can say that, but a lot of his research was done on cancer. He had phenomenal results with it.
Yeah.
Like even... Go ahead.
Can I just skip ahead? Am I thinking of the right person? I think a lot of his work was shut down. Am I right with that?
That's right.
Yeah. So this will be why it's the C word that causes the problems, isn't it?
Yes, and it was back in the day. The FDA is actually who got hold of him. So the FDA is the Food and Drug Administration in the United States.
America. Yeah.
And they are not into alternative or complementary.
They are not into helping people. They're into helping corporates, aren't they?
So basically, Reich started having amazing results with his organ accumulators, diabetes, cancer, all type of chronic diseases. He was just like, all right, see this box? Get in there, stay in there for half an hour a day, and people started healing almost anything. Right? So obviously the FDA...
And actually, I mean, when you think about it, there's absolute logic in it at a very easily accessible level. This is life force. And a chronically ill body is low on life force. So if you're charging up that life force again.
I mean, even nowadays, I mean, people use sunlight therapy. They send people to retreats, into the woods, to the sea, breathe the iodine. It makes common sense even nowadays.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, we recharge batteries. Why not recharge our own?
That's right.
Yeah.
So basically, the FDA got heard about him claiming that he can do this and that, and they started shutting him down, making his life really, really difficult. And actually, the one thing that really surprised me when I was researching this is the last book burning in recorded history are actually the books of Wilhelm Reich. So the FDA destroyed all of his research, basically make sure that none of the instruction manuals, nothing is left behind.
That's wicked.
This is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, so basically they've done the same thing to what happened to Nikola Tesla, right? In the end, they've just destroyed all of his work.
And Reich, for Raymond Reich, the same thing happened, didn't it?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's basically where the term orgon and organ accumulators are coming from.
Right.
So then fast forward into, what do we call it? Well, the year 2000, the noughties? Is this how they're called?
The noughties, yeah. I love that. It makes me feel a bit wicked.
There was a guy called Karl Hans Welz, and I believe he found some of the research, but don't quote me on this. I don't exactly know how he got onto it, but I believe that it was from Germany. Some of Reich's books were translated into German, and he got hold of those books.
Right. So these the FDA hadn't managed to get their hands on.
That's right. That's right. And then he started improving on the organ accumulators, rather than having to use ginormous rooms with thousands of layers of organic and inorganic matter. He started building them made out of resin with really fine layers of metals.
Yeah.
And he introduced, I believe, what's called the 3-density orgonites. So Karl-Heinz Welz introduced the term orgonite. Right? So this was basically the first pieces. And then later there was a couple called Don and Carol Croft, spiritually very talented people, channelers, meditators. And I believe it was Carol who channeled that those orgonites would have a by far stronger effect if you would add crystals into them. So basically, same technology, just put a crystal inside. And
makes sense. It amplifies, yeah.
It does. Also, another really interesting thing that happens is when the resin dries around the crystal, it creates pressure.
Right.
And if you put a crystal under pressure, what happens is one side goes plus and the other side goes minus, which is called the piezoelectric effect. Yeah. And it's basically what we're using in computer technology nowadays, right? Current runs through, one side goes plus, one side goes minus, and then... So basically by using that, what started happening is the organites were not accumulating the negative energy. So obviously it was accumulating it. However, when the energy flows in, and then you have a crystal with a minus pole and a plus pole, all the energy flows into the minus and comes out as positive energy.
Oh, I love it. That's alchemy, isn't it?
It is. It's truly alchemy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that happened around 2004, 2005. And ever since, Orgonites have started conquering the world. I mean, everybody comes across it, starts building them, and it's really simple to do. So, all you need is really metal shavings, ideally iron, or you could use copper, higher quality metals. Yeah. Really well. Whereas aluminum, for instance, wouldn't be that great. So you have simple shavings. You can get them from the guys who are cutting keys, for instance.
Yeah.
Like a little pile of metal lying around. And then all you need to do is make a mix of 50% resin and 50% metal shavings. Stir it all up, chuck a crystal inside, and it's also ideal if the crystal is not, it's a natural crystal, so it's not cut.
Right. So it hasn't been shaped and, yeah.
And then just put it in there, wait 12 to 24 hours, depending on how fast your resin dries, and you have an orgonite. And it's a mini device that constantly transforms any type of energy that is in your surrounding into positive energy. So that's how Orgonites came about.
Wow. So you Well, people, from what you're saying, people can make these themselves at home.
Yes, I highly encourage everybody.
We're going to look in a minute at some of the sort of beautiful things you do, which is it's at another level entirely. But they obviously have a beneficial field to them. How far does that field extend?
Oh wow! I mean, nowadays people are doing all type of craziness. There are Orgonites that are powered with electric currents. There are Orgonites which basically use crazy crystals. There are Orgonites. I've seen a piece made recently that was about 2.5 meters high, like a huge pyramid.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Bovis reading, which is the reading in which we measure chi energy.
Yeah.
The millions and millions. So the field that an Orgonite can create is miles.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So basically what people do nowadays with the self-made smaller pieces, it's funny because they use the term the holy hand grenade. So basically they make small pieces and they go to places where the energy flow ain't very good. So for instance, if you have electric cables, lines running overhead, particular ley line spots or SHA lines.
Geopathic stress?
Yes, absolutely. You place one of those Orgonites in that particular point and it just starts transforming the energy. And it's not only just transforming it, it's actually generating positive energy. So everything that is around it starts being alive again.
Yeah.
And you can see that in people's gardens. I mean, whereby people place Orgonites, just put a little Orgonite next to a plant and the plant starts thriving suddenly.
Wow.
And then obviously you can use them as personal devices you can wear on yourself or ones that have specific purposes to heal people.
Am I seeing that you've got one around your neck?
Yes, I always wear one. So
yeah,
that's my piece here.
Isn't that beautiful? Yeah.
Yes, so that's one of our Generation X because it's been now 10 years since we've been making them.
Yeah.
And so nowadays all type of new technology is going in.
So it's like having a little personal, I don't know, health guru around your neck.
Well, I'd like to see them as amulets because the amount of things that they can do for you is just huge. So what I started doing over the years, let me backtrack. The way how I've gotten onto all of this is I was researching tools that magicians, high priests, shamans, everybody is using particular type of things. And doesn't matter how far you look back into history, all wizards or witches, they all have a staff. Why do all of them have a staff? Why do they all use mirrors? Why do they all use crystals? There's going to be something to them, right? As I was previously studying a lot about chi energy, I was like, hang on a second. So if I can have a tool that can accumulate that, obviously power for healing or any type of spiritual, it's going to be a lot increased. So I started looking at the staffs of the pharaohs, different types of wands, different types of scrying objects, and then I found that most of them are built the same way like Reich was building the organ accumulators. So they're organic, inorganic, organic, inorganic. And I was like, okay, we have a pattern here. Then the next thing I was looking at was sacred sites, pyramids, stone circles. A lot of them are built in the same type of way. Organic, inorganic, organic, inorganic layers. Okay, there must be more to this. And this is how I found the technology of Wilhelm Reich. Looked at that for quite a long time. Then I realized what we could do is we could bring in more knowledge into that. So I originally started my spiritual journey with the Knights Templar, and they teach a lot about sacred geometry. And sacred geometry, I mean, has been used also in architecture everywhere, really. Wherever you're making a building that is supposed to hold energy, you're using sacred geometry. Right?
Yeah. So for the sake of people who aren't really aware, listening, who might not be aware of what sacred geometry is, I mean, it's a big subject.
It is.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe just a few words to help them understand it.
Okay, so basically there are mathematical patterns that appear everywhere in the known universe, in the building blocks of our nature. So the first person that talked about this, the mainstream, was, I believe, Plato, from whom we've got the Platonic solids.
Yeah.
And basically all molecules, all matter is basically built on those. Then you have one of the main things also in sacred geometry is the flower of life pattern. As solids and all the functions of the building blocks can be extracted from it. And then the flower of life leads into the six-pointed star, the Merkaba, or also called the star tetrahedron. And most sacred symbology, religious symbology, is pretty much built on sacred geometry. As well as most churches, temples, mosques.
Yeah, I mean, if we were to show some of the signs and symbols, people would recognize them instantly. They're everywhere, aren't they?
They truly are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought, like, hang on a second. So if I have a device that constantly cleans energy, how can I tap into this energy and how can I make it stronger? And then I thought, all right, let's start simply with putting a flower of life onto one of the Orgonites. And then over the years, I've experimented with many different patterns. I'm a kinesiologist as well as a dowser. So that way, basically, we simply get someone in, put your hand on this disc, let's see how your body reacts to this, right?
Yep.
What happens if I have a cube on it, or a triangle, or a circle, or a flower of life? Put your hand on it, test. And then we found that certain type of patterns give off stronger energy readings. And the next thing that came into my life, I started studying crystal healing and all that comes with it. And then I thought, hang on a second, we could also add crystal grids into this. And so we have basically an Orgonite base, which is the standard ripe technology of 50% resin to metal. And then on top of that, I put a crystal grid. And on top of that, we put different type of coloring patterns, and then we put the sacred geometry on top. So what happens is, I actually do believe I have a picture of that.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd show us.
Hang in there, hang in there. Let's see if I can bring this up. There you go.
Figure out how we make the technology work.
Share screen. Show this.
Something's coming up. Oh, yeah, look at that. Wow, yes.
Right on. So basically, you can see right at the bottom is the 50% base mix of resin. These are the organic and inorganic layers. So there are thick pieces of metal in there, smaller pieces, and fine particles of metal. Then the layer that is sitting on top of that is the crystal grid. So there's a crystal in the center, and then there's a crystal grid all around here.
Yeah.
And then finally, you have a sacred geometry pattern on top. So all the energy is basically moved in. So the negative orgon comes in from the bottom, and then it's being pushed out via the top.
And it's moving through these wonderful sacred shapes and things like this.
That's right.
Well, so it's not just, orgon energy, beneficial orgon energy, but it's also got that extra magic attached to it.
So we found that the crystals give it a tonality. So most of our work really that we're doing nowadays is by making custom pieces for people. Usually I thought, like, okay, any type of organ will fulfill any type of purpose, but unfortunately it doesn't. Any organ transforms energy and does it really well.
Yeah.
What I cater to for people is magical tools that are customized for them.
Yeah.
So say you are a healer, you have a lot of people coming through your practice. That will create a lot of energetic sludge, dark energy. And most healers put some energy in, swipe the hands down onto the floor, and then over the weeks, months, you have a toxic sludge all over the floor.
Yeah.
Basically negative chi debris.
Yeah, see, I mean, it's other people's baggage, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, they've dropped off with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people know their business well, and they smudge, they clear the room, they use a singing bowl, etc. We simplify this. So we built an organ generator that goes underneath your treatment bed, and the crystal grid that is sitting on top of it is programmed to catch all of those energies and naturally transforms it into a positive field. Pieces that can be made for people who feel like they need more psychic protection. We would be with black tourmaline, smoky quartz, obsidian. Pieces for people who want to improve their meditation capacities or their shamanic journeys would have opals and moonstones and dreamstones and so on. So we start with customizing them for the individual.
And you make all of these?
Yeah, so it's not just me. I've got my parents to make them for me as well.
Love it, a family business.
Yes, my parents are very spiritual people, and they've originally kind of give me the right push to start to study all of this. But they've been artists their entire lives, so I was just like, Mom, Dad, do you fancy helping out? And they're like, yeah, I would love it. And they've made the most phenomenal pieces. My dad is an artist and a painter, so he does actually. So what I usually do is the sacred geometry design.
Yeah.
He does the paintings on them.
Yeah.
So pieces, for instance, with crystal skulls or dragons. Let me show you another one.
Wow. Coming up. Yeah, there we go.
So this is a crystal skull disc that we've built for a guy who is a crystal skull healer. It has the rings here, which is the fruit of life geometry. So if you would be extracting any crossing lines from the flower of life, this is what you would be left with, the fruit of life geometry, which is purely female energy.
Yeah.
And then underneath any of those rings, we have a Herkimer diamond, which is pointing upwards. So now the guy that is doing the crystal skull healings, he places all of his crystal skulls on top of this disc, and then they are being additionally charged with the energy of the organ, and the reading of them becomes purely crazy. I mean, the energy that comes up is just huge.
Wow. And so you're doing this you're making things customized for healers and therapists of various sorts.
That's right. I mean, I like to call them the magic people.
Yeah. Yes, they're bringing magic back to this world.
That's right. And so basically, all of this combination of this work came from us traveling to the Peruvian jungle and working with the shamanic medicines over there.
Yeah.
And during those type of sessions, the sky opened up for me, and 3 funny beings approached me and said, "Hey, listen, you know all of this. Why don't you combine this all under one banner?"
So it was just integrating all of the learning. Yeah. So again, you learned all of this, and it's how do you put it all together. There you go.
But I mean, there were some funny links in there, which I would consciously would have never made myself.
Yeah.
But the spirit world was kind enough to provide this information.
And
then, over the years, so much more came into it. So we started putting mirrors into the Orgonites.
Mirrors?
Maybe I can show it. Do you want my piece? So here you go. So down here, this is the layer with the different type of metal mixers. And then if I move this kind of around, you should be able to see how reflective that is.
Yeah, very.
There's a very, very thin one-way mirror, which allows the energy from the orgonite to emanate forwards. In magic, mirrors are being used to reflect any type of energy.
Yeah.
So if someone is casting you say an evil eye or a spell, etc. I mean, I'm not saying that there are a lot of wizards or sorcerers.
Yeah, but just
unconsciously.
Yeah, right? Somebody cuts you up in a car and you
right?
You curse them, don't you? And you don't realize that's what you're doing. Yeah.
And it's really unconscious. However, if you're working in an environment where you have a lot of electromagnetic frequencies, so you're sitting in front of your computer, there is, or I don't know, God knows how many computers are there around you in an office. Everybody has Wi-Fi. Everybody has a mobile phone, which is nowadays going from G4, which is already crazy,
Yeah.
to G5, which is basically like sitting next to a microwave.
Yeah.
So this environment, fluorescent light, all those light which have mercury in them, the frequencies that they give off, they are really disturbing the auric field as well as your meridian flow. So in that type of environment, we are already energetically weakened. On top of that, you have the stuff that is going on with the world, with fluoride, chemtrails. I don't even want to go into all of this stuff that is basically being thrown at us.
I mean, if somebody cooked up a soup for how to cause chaos, we've done it, haven't we?
We actually do call it the soup. It feels like. So the environment that we're in is really heavy, and when people are in a heavy environment, they are, let's say, short-tempered. They become really emotional. If you're emotional for a long time, that attracts entities on top of that as well. So there's basically, we are in the soup, and people's energies are really affecting us a lot. So if you have a mirror which is in front of the heart chakra, that bounces off a lot of those energies. That's why we've added the mirrors into it. Another thing that came is magnets. So we are using neodymium. Oh, I don't know the right way to say it. Neodymium magnets. It's a very specific magnet. It's very, very thin, but the power is very, very strong. So if you know a little bit more about magnets, they can change the structure of the blood. And also, if you have blood flowing past a magnet, if it's clotted, is this the right?
Clotted, yeah.
Clotted, it unclots. So we have a magnet in front of the heart chakra as well, which is also raising the toroidal energy field. So basically, the energy of the aura also grows through them and is purified at all times.
So it works not just at the energy level, but there's a very physical effect as well within the body.
Yes, there is. And it's, well, look, obviously I don't want to have the Inquisition coming after me, but there are a lot of people on the internet which actually have a lot of proofs that this type of technology works. You just need to Google or YouTube it. There are people doing water experiments where they freeze water over an orgonite. So just put it in the freezer.
Yeah.
And you have two bowls as one as a sample. Test, what do you call it?
Control.
And the other one has the orgonite underneath, and you let this water freeze. And you will see that this particular water with the orgonite has a very specific spiral pattern in it. It's crazy. People are using multimeters for electromagnetic fields. And you have, I don't know, some sort of a device, let's say a mobile phone, and you measure the energy, the field that comes off it, and then you put an orgonite next to it, and then you measure it again, and you can see a clear drop. So
that's just so simple. I mean, I've got those meters. I've got EMF meters and the microwave meter as well. So it's really, really simple. Anybody can get hold of these meters. You can buy them easily.
It's not not a difficult experiment to do.
There, right in front of your eyes, proof.
Yeah, but explain that to mainstream science, right?
Well, I was reading something only this morning where this chap was sort of saying it's good to be a skeptic, but when you're given proof, if you're a skeptic about something, go and research it, go and try to understand it, and go and find out the facts. And then if you're still skeptical once you've got the facts and the facts back it up, you're not a skeptic any longer. You're basically you're someone whose mind is so closed that it doesn't matter what the facts are, you're not going to change it.
Yeah, and look, I completely agree with it. I mean, not everybody should jump into it and basically just take my word for it. But Reich's work is available. I mean, there's if you just Google Wilhelm Reich, there's this main website, I believe it's called Orgonon, and all of his books are there. The whole research is there. And then there's 50 years, 60 years till nowadays of people having experimented with those devices. I mean, there are Facebook groups and all the hoo-ha, everything is out there, and people having incredible results. not so long ago, I mean, this technology already comes from Reich because he's been experimenting with cloud busters.
Yeah.
So basically an orgonite that has additional copper pipes added to it. And basically you can just put it out on a cloudy day. I mean, obviously not in a thunderstorm, but if you have clouds overhead and you put a cloud buster up there, the energy that it generates is actually opening up a clear spot in the sky.
I would have one on my patio.
No, people are using them to actually get rid of chemtrails. So there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet which you can research, and the instructions on how to build them are actually quite simple. So I personally believe everybody should have one of them in the garden, or at least next to the Wi-Fi or some, usually Wi-Fi is the most polluted environment in the house.
Yeah.
So just chuck one next to it, and then
Now you produce. I've had a look at your website, and you've got some lovely things on there. But so you produce round discs that you call harmonizers. Would that be something that you put in your home? I don't know how big they are.
Yes. So we do them in several different type of sizes. The smallest ones being the amulets, which we customize for people, and also organ generators, or how you're calling them, the harmonizers. And a piece which is roughly 21 centimeters of size, which is about this big, usually clears in an environment of good 200 to 300 meters in every direction.
Wow,
So
that's a big field.
Yeah, it is. And this is, I'm speaking about proper clearing the energy in it, right? So if there are any harmful or toxic energies within that field, the orgonite, if programmed well, will pick up on those and transform them.
And so when you say programmed well, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so the basic orgonite transforms energy by itself, but we know from the crystal studies that crystals have a consciousness. Not only can they store information, but there is, I would refer to them as the crystal devas. They're like the underlying consciousness that is responsible for a particular type of crystal. And one, via shamanism or via meditation, one can access this consciousness. Same as when you would be doing a work with plants, for instance. You can talk to a tree, to a plant. You do the same thing with the crystal. And once you get this type of communication established, you can ask the deva for a particular type of purpose. So say, I'm a person that gets easily stressed, right? So I would build an orgonite for this person, which has crystals inside. They're very calming, very grounding. And then once you receive the orgonite, you connect via whichever method you can. I mean, some people meditate with them, some do Reiki on it, some get the dowsing rod out of the pendulum and program the crystals that way. But you literally address the crystal grids inside of the orgonite and say, hey, my name is Andrew, and nice to meet you, crystal. I would like you to ground me. This is the purpose that you're going to have. So all the energy that you're getting from the environment, I want you to use this energy to ground me. So program the crystal grid with intention. And as the orgonite is constantly bringing energy in, you see, the law of attraction by itself is really difficult to maintain. I mean, really difficult, challenging, let's call it like that. It means that we have to constantly carry a specific type of vibration. So I want to create abundance in my life, but I have a really shabby car and the place I'm living at is not good and I'm not earning a lot of money. So my underlying vibration is that I don't feel abundant. I don't want abundance. So I have this underlying belief, which is the mind frequency, and then what I want. You're never gonna get there like this.
No, because it's not. It doesn't.
Right. So, however, if you're able to meditate and create a frequency for a certain period of time, then the universe starts listening. Oh, hang on a second. This guy is giving off a frequency which is giving off a lot of abundance. Let's give him abundance. Right? So what we're doing is we're kind of cheating this process, right? Because now I have a device which is an orgonite which constantly brings energy in. So now I tell this device, hey, this energy that you're constantly bringing in, I want you to use this energy for this and this purpose. So it's almost like a battery for the law of attraction. Just does it on your behalf. And if you're working with magic or healing, etc., that becomes a very valuable tool.
So if one buys one of these pendants or something from you, is it you who programs it, or is it the person can sit with it and they can program it? Because I mean, our intentions change,
Yeah.
don't we, as we move through life, and we want different things, or stuff is going on, and yeah.
So generally speaking, what we do nowadays is we test. We either get your numerology, so we're looking at your birthday as well as your full name, and from that we get your numerology, and from that we can figure out what type of crystals and colors would be in your highest and greatest interest from where you are at. However, we do not put any programming onto it because I don't want to get karmically involved in what you're going to do with it. People are crazy.
Very wise.
But I do send people instructions on how to program them.
Yeah.
Right? So it's purely your intention. I produce this device. It's a blank sleeve for you. It will clean your energy. But what it exactly is that you want it for, that you have to decide it yourself.
Yeah. Fantastic. No, that makes absolute sense. And as I said, I think very wise on your part.
yeah. I just learned the hard way.
Yeah. And you make pendulums, don't you, as well? Can you show us some of the pictures of some of the lovely things? I mean, you have a website, and I'll make sure the website details go up, and people can see things in the shop there. But just so people have a flavour.
Okay, I will try to flick through some of the pictures. Just give me a second. Like I said, I'm not very good with computers.
No, it's wonderful we can do this, to be frank with you.
So this is a piece that I've made out of a watch. I call it the time machine. There's another one. Here's a piece which has...
that is beautiful.
Spiral in it. They're called ammonites.
Yeah.
Here is a piece which is with the Templar cross. So this was a custom piece with the flower of life overlapping onto it.
Yeah. Very, very beautiful.
Can you see that?
We're still on the previous picture. Right, close the picture down maybe.
Okay.
So we'll share screen again.
Sorry for keeping you waiting.
No, don't worry.
Okay, how about this? Can you see that?
My goodness, that is magnificent. The detail in that.
So this is a dream disc. This piece is made with labradorites, which are the shamanic stone. Then it has, these are Herkimer diamonds. I really like working with Herkimer diamonds because they are generator crystals. So basically it means that all angles and all sides are exactly the same. And those type of crystals produce just by far bigger power. So there's always a Herkimer diamond at the very center of the big disc.
Yeah.
Then it has blue kyanite, it has sapphire in them, it has moonstones in them. I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
Yeah. Amazing. And when you say that's a dream, what do you call it, a dream disc?
A dream disc, yes. That particular piece I built for a lady that runs shamanic journey workshops.
Yeah.
So
it's helping to take us.
Yes, right, slightly higher into the hyperspace.
Through the veil, as people might say.
That's right. But yeah, so my work is mainly focusing right now on pendulums as well as on amulets.
That's the dowsing pendulums. I've got one here which is a little crystal, but have you got a picture of yours?
I believe I do have it.
Because I have to say I am lusting after one of them.
That's very kind of you.
It feels just looking at them, they feel very powerful.
Hang on a second. Picture of pendulums coming up. Is this visible now?
Wow. No, you're back. We saw it for a moment, then it.
There we are.
There we are. Yeah, beautiful.
So those pieces have a AAA grade Herkimer diamond right in the spiral down here. And then basically you have different type of metal mixes in there. Then you have really fine density of metal powders at the top.
Mm.
And those rings are not closed rings, they have a cut through them. And basically, there's another guy, a Russian researcher called Mlakovsky,
Mm.
figured out that if you're layering rings, so basically one goes into the other one, into the
Yeah.
other, and then the opening is on opposite sides always, that also brings in a lot of etheric energy. So we're just combining all of those technologies into one, and so we're doing two types of pendulums. The regular one, which is just generally speaking for healing purposes.
Mm.
Then we have something which I affectionately call the demon hunters. So this is for people who do clearing work, spirit release,
Yeah.
house clearings, land clearings, etc. And so yeah, we just tested what type of metals are required for that, what type of crystals. So it turns out that, for instance, Herkimer diamond in combination with moldavite, which is a meteorite,
Mm-hmm.
are both self-cleansing, and they power them each other up, so the energy just gets huge. And you put a sprinkle of gold into that, which also activates the crystals, and so the energy is really, really strong. You can tackle slightly bigger things with it.
Yeah, slightly more serious things, because and I would have thought it helps to keep you safe as well. So
yeah, I mean, I personally believe that the pendulum is like the lightsaber to the Jedi. You should not
oh,
without it.
I definitely want one now. I need a lightsaber. We all need a lightsaber. Yeah. Well, so what else do you do? There's the pendulums.
So pendulums and amulets is currently my main focus. I do make wands as well, but they combine different type of chaotic shamanism work, and I build Orgonites into them.
Yeah.
Staffs, I mean, I do crystal grids. Oh, hang on, maybe I could show you one of those. This is going to be a good picture. There is a crystal grid which is set up on an Orgonite. Now, let's do this. Share. And here we are. I think I'm getting the hang of this.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing.
There we are. So
beautiful.
Studying crystals for quite a few years, I realized that if you set up crystals on a sacred geometry patterns, and the angles of, so basically the sides of the crystals are facing each other, that feeds into the centerpiece, right? And then you have crystal, what is called a crystal pillow, a stone that basically accumulates all of this energy and sends it into the central piece.
Yeah.
So the energy that's coming off that is just huge. So you would put that, for instance, underneath a treatment couch, and any type of minor blockages or attachments in someone's energy field would just be simply mowed down by that. And then the Orgonite just transforms this energy.
Yeah. So really, for anyone who's working as a therapist, one of these things is going to be so beneficial, not just for their patients, their clients, but also for the therapists themselves and for the quality of the work that they're doing.
Absolutely, and as well as their space. Right?
Yeah.
And I do personally believe that everything has kind of consciousness to it. Morphogenetic fields. So a house will have a certain level of consciousness. A clinic will have a certain level of consciousness, and everybody is lifted together. So it's literally a win-win-win.
Yeah. Well, I've studied lots of things in my time, like we all do. When we start down this path, it's like a sweetie store, isn't it? And there's so much to learn, and everything takes you to something new. And I mean, feng shui was one of the things I did many years ago, understanding the energy of your space and how to make it more harmonious and a better place for you to live. But it sounds to me like, one of your discs in the house is almost doing the same job.
Yes,
much more easily.
You were asking earlier about what about if the purpose changes, right?
Yeah.
You simply wipe the intention on the crystal grid and give it another one.
Yeah.
So some people work with up to 3 intentions per amulet or disc.
Yeah.
I personally like to keep them down to 1 because the energy quality is just, it's focused. It's not all over the place. However, it just so happens that I do have a lot of discs I can use, I have a few things going on at the same time.
Yeah. So, I mean, ideally, well, I mean, just from the point of view of health, let's just take that. We sit in homes which are saturated in hidden energies, the
Yes.
Wi-Fi, the EMFs, the microwaves, and that's without bringing into it our bad tempers and our,
Yeah,
our
or
stress and
astral worlds and
our negative
emotions.
programming and all of this sort of thing. So even just at that level, from the point of view of making your space lighter, brighter, more supportive to you and a more of a healing environment, again, if someone just who doesn't know much about this and doesn't, says, well, I don't really know much about how to meditate, or I'm, intentional, and what if they had one of your discs and they just put it in maybe next to the Wi-Fi router,
Yeah.
they put it in their home and just left it there and just occasionally looked at it and thought, oh yeah, you're doing great work, thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, literally for people who are not into energy or magic, this is it's functioning art.
Yeah.
This thing that it looks beautiful, it gives off good vibes. Um, Quite often when people put them in waiting rooms, for instance, right?
Mm.
Or I've seen people who are therapists doing constellations, and when the energy gets really funny in a room, right, a lot of emotions are coming out, the discs just cleans it up really fast. So you get just better results faster.
Yeah.
The home feels so much more harmonious and balanced.
Yeah, yeah, and you don't really have to worry about it or do anything about it.
No, actually, it's
Because
just
one of the things about feng shui is that you're constantly having to go back and check that it hasn't been changed, and that, I mean, there's quite a lot of work involved in
yeah,
harmonizing your home at that level.
that's right. And the amazing thing about Orgonites is they are self-cleansing, right?
Mm.
So not only is it only just a device that creates good vibes, you don't need to go in there and smudge it or do a moon bath or a sun bath, etc. Also, on that note, um, this is something that you can use an Orgonite for as well. When you have one of those discs,
Mhm.
crystals that you want to clear, right? I
Yeah.
mean, what I used to do is get the pendulum out, first basically get rid of the trauma that they've been ripped out of the ground, then wash them with flowing water, put them into swords, set them out for a day on the sun, then in the moon, maybe even bury them if necessary back in the ground, and then the energy kind of stabilizes, and then you start using them, right?
Yeah.
All of this is gone. Now I have a disc. I put an organite on top, a crystal on top of it. 15 minutes, same result.
Wow. Yeah.
Water or food that you want to charge up, right? I mean, again,
Mm.
the quality of our food has really dipped in
Mm.
decades. The quality of water that is coming out of the pipe, right? I mean, apart from chloride, fluoride, and right angles, which water does not usually flow at,
Yeah.
water is really confused. Put a glass or a bottle on top of one of those discs, let it stand, and you can taste the difference in taste within like 15 minutes. So, I
So
mean, it's not only my devices, right? Any organ devices, any
yeah.
other you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm a really big promoter. You can hear I'm quite
You
excited
are,
about
yeah,
those.
I can hear the passion for it, and rightly so, because we live in very difficult times. We are being bombarded at so many levels with negativity and things that are sort of harming us, really harming
Yeah,
us, and our health and our vitality. I mean, the number of people I see within my practice, people who are just, I mean, they're literally hanging on by the fingertips. Their life force is very, very low. So
yeah.
something like this is simple. It's beautiful. I love form and function. I just love that. It's beautiful, and yet it works. It does the job.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
You know, as I say, what could be simpler? And if you know more, then you can work more with it in creative ways. But yeah, amazing,
Thank
amazing.
you. And simple. So yeah,
Yeah,
so basically I've made it my specialty to basically not everybody can do everything, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, in energy work, most people at some point will come across tools, right? Whether this is a dowsing rod or a pendulum or a staff or a sword, which you have at the back wall.
Yes,
So
yes,
all of
absolutely.
those tools can be used to funnel energy, right? So
Mm,
why not have a device that you can wear directly on yourself, which you can program to get exactly the frequencies that you want?
yeah.
Or, I mean, even a small piece. We do clearings for people. If you want to your mobile phone, which is most of the time being carried in a pocket, right?
Yeah.
That gives off bad vibes.
And it causes a lot of problems that people, carrying it in pockets, not a good idea. Carrying it on your body, not a good idea. Yeah.
Like even the instructions, if anyone ever reads them, says, do not put this thing close to your ear because it will irradiate you, right?
That's their get out clause, because they know that's just what you're going to do.
So you have even a really small piece, you have that in your pocket, and your body, this energy that comes off this device, is just it's like a magnet for it. It goes directly to the orgonite. It's being transformed much faster. So your vitality, your just well-being is so different. Your aura is way more open. The meridian flow is better. And yeah, I mean, the magnets can be used inside of the amulets, for instance. Did you come across the emotion code? How you can swipe out emotions out of the body?
Yeah, for people who aren't aware of it, I mean, there's a book about it, and it's a what should we call it? A therapy, isn't it?
Yes. So it's basically it's a form of kinesiology. Using magnet to release any type of trapped emotional energies from the body. So the book is called The Emotion Code. I do not remember the author, but it's genius.
Yeah.
So by swiping certain energy lines in the body with the magnet, you can release trapped emotions which you've been carrying for years. In a really, really soft, non-invasive way. So there you go. You feel funny, something ain't right with your field, you take your orgonite, you swipe the energy out of the body, sorted. I mean, the amount of things you can do with them is just amazing.
It is amazing. And in these highly complicated times where most people are stressed out their brains and don't have 2 seconds to spare, something that is so easy and so simple and so straightforward is really important.
Yeah.
It's a real gift to us. So, yeah. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. It's been
my pleasure.
I mean, I've gone from being a complete dud about orgon energy and orgonite to really, I can understand why you're so passionate about it. And yeah, it's going to be making an appearance in my home. Anyway.
Excellent. Let me customize one for you.
I would love that. Yes. Thank you.
I'll
make sure that it's OrgonitesArt, isn't it?
OrgonitesArt.com.
I'll make sure that it's up at the end so people can find your website. It is so well worth looking at, folks. The things are beautiful.
If you could, maybe, because OrgonitesArt, I mean, the website hasn't been looked after, so it has a lot of old pieces.
Yeah.
But, OrgonitesArt is on Facebook. So if you want to see videos of the pieces in detail with descriptions, how they are made, how I douse and harmonize the crystal grids for them, that's all on my Facebook. So that's Facebook/OrgonitesArt.
Excellent.
And we do have a little shop, which is Etsy.com. And so Etsy is this kind of little website that kind of like eBay, but for handmade stuff.
Yeah.
And my shop is called Neo-Shamanism.
Neo-Shamanism. I'll make sure that all of this goes up, on the end slide, and then people have a reference for it so they can find you and find all your wonderful, wonderful orgonites.
Thank you. Very kind.
Well, thank you so much, Andrew. And thank you to everyone who's listening. I hope you found that as fascinating as I did. And I'm going to beat you to the website, basically, to go and get my orgonite. And I will see you all tomorrow with another guest. Thank you very much. Goodbye.